Hello and welcome to my channel, Just Let Me Sew. My name is Tanya. If you are new here, thank you very much for coming along, and I do hope you will consider subscribing to my channel. If you are a returning viewer, thank you so much for coming back. I really do appreciate it. So today I'll start off by saying what I'm wearing. Nothing particularly exciting today. I am wearing a Marlowe sweater in a beautiful bright pink sweater knit, like a fine knit that I got from Neo Trims. If you haven't heard of Neo Trims before, I've shopped with them on eBay, and I think they supply fabrics to the fashion industry. And they're just plain fabrics that they do, but they do all sorts of stretch fabrics, and this lovely fine knit which has got a lovely sort of soft texture to it. It is acrylic, I believe, but they do it in about 20 different colours, I think. Rib knits, sweater and sweatshirt fabrics as well, so go along and have a look at them. If you haven't heard of Neo Trims before, I will link them below as well. And then my t-shirt is just a Tilly and the Buttons Tabitha t-shirt in just a plain cotton jersey, nothing fancy. It's just one of those days here in the UK. We've had quite a lot of rain today. It's starting to feel quite cold, so I'm just wearing this with some ready-to-wear leggings, nothing special at all. So I wanted to start as well by taking part in a small vlog shout out that Sequin Girly Creates has started, and I wanted to do my shout out for, let me just double check that I get her name right. Her YouTube is Karen Marie, and I will link her handle down below. She is based in Norway, and she does some lovely makes. One of her videos in particular was about sewing a Norwegian traditional dress for her daughter, which was beautiful. So do go and have a look. I will link her handle down below as well. So today I'm going to do just a very short introduction first of all about myself. A couple of people commented on my previous videos that they would like to know a little bit about me. So as I said, my name's Tanya. I live in the south of England in Surrey. I'm married and I have two small children aged 4 and 7, so they certainly keep me quite occupied. My 4-year-old has just started school, so she's given me a little bit more free time now, which is good to have. I used to be a secondary school teacher. I taught languages, and I left teaching back in July, just wanting a little bit more quiet time. Various reasons why I left teaching, but now I'm hoping to do a career change. A little bit about why I got into sewing, or how I got into sewing. So I've been sewing since 2010. I've always been quite crafty, I suppose, quite creative, better word. Always enjoyed making things like cross stitch, embroidery, things like that at school, making cards, anything where I could just make things. And then one weekend, my husband and I went to a barbecue, and there was a lady there with a beautiful skirt on, and I commented on it, and she said, "Oh, thank you, I made it myself." And I was so shocked that you could do something like that. Turns out she was a pattern cutter for Vivienne Westwood, and we got talking, and she was just telling me how easy it was, and you can just buy a pattern. And I thought, okay, I'll give that a go. And then in I suppose in quite a naive way, I thought, right, I'll just buy a pattern then. And my first pattern, I can't remember the name of it, but it was one of the big fours. Probably a bit too complex for a beginner sewer to take on. I took myself down to Goldhawk Road in London, which is an amazing fabric street if you don't know it. A street where they just have fabric shops either side, very well known. And I bought a shirting cotton, I think, to make this dress out of, which was totally the wrong fabric. Didn't pre-wash it, didn't even know I was meant to do that. Wore it proudly into work and it fitted and everything. Washed it and it shrunk, so I could never wear it again. So that was my first lesson learned. And then I also bought myself a beautiful 1950s vintage pattern, which again, I didn't know anything about sewing. I just made it up. It was way too big for me, so I just sort of took it in as I could, wore a belt with it, and I loved it. It was a great make for me. I really enjoyed wearing it. I haven't got it anymore because I actually wore it so much that the colour completely faded and it had to be recycled. But those were two of my first ever makes that really got me hooked into dressmaking. On top of that, when I first started sewing, there wasn't really the YouTube community that there is now. I don't think there even was. You could find videos, tutorials perhaps, but I didn't really know much about YouTube. There wasn't Instagram, so I used to read blogs, and I loved reading the blog that Tilly used to have from Tilly and the Buttons long before she started up her business. And she lived, I believe, in Brixton, which was just up the road from where I was living at the time. And she wrote about this fabric shop, Simply Fabrics in Brixton. So I took myself down there, bought myself lots of lovely fabrics. It was at the time when Mad Men was really popular, and lots of blogs were talking about recreating some of the beautiful dresses from Mad Men. So that was quite a popular thing to do at the time. Also New Girl, I don't know if anyone remembers that programme, New Girl, with Zooey Deschanel in it, and that was quite popular as well on blogs to recreate some of her lovely dresses that she had from that. So yeah, thanks to Tilly that I found out about that fabric shop, and I used to read her blog on all of my lunch breaks at work. I just sit there eating my sandwich, reading up about all these blogs. Another blog I used to love as well was a lady called Charity Shop Chic. She also got me into the idea of going to charity shops or thrift shops and taking a garment and upcycling it. And I love that idea because part of the garment is already made for you. You just sort of have to tweak it, so you save a bit of time and money as well, which was great. So yes, those were a couple of the blogs that really got me into sewing. I started off sewing, I think, just the big 4 patterns, which was quite a steep learning curve and probably quite demoralising as well, I think, at the time. So that is everything that got me into sewing, and I thought I would show you some of the things that I've been working on this week. My project that I have finished, I am ashamed to say, has been sitting in my whips pile for about 2 years. If my sister is watching, this is for you. You have already seen this, but it is very, very cute. So my sister is a big Star Wars and Hello Kitty fan. And for her Christmas present 2 years ago, I found this adorable Hello Kitty Star Wars fabric. So look, it's got a little Hello Kitty Yoda, a little Hello Kitty Ewok, Princess Leia, Darth Vader. It's adorable. It came from Singapore. Again, I bought it 2 years ago. I found it on Etsy. I will have a look on Etsy and see if I can find a similar fabric and link it down below, lined in the same fabric as well. The tutorial that I had originally used for this pattern had since been taken down off Pinterest. So I'd cut out the template, I'd cut out the fabric and the interfacing, went to go and click on the tutorial to finish it off, and it was site no longer found, something like that. So I couldn't find a similar tutorial on YouTube or anywhere, so I kind of just winged it, made it up as I went along, and I think it's come out okay. So that will be posted off to my sister very soon, so really cute, very pleased with that. And I just had a little purple zip in my stash, which I used as well. I think that goes perfectly with those colours. Really didn't take long to sew up as well. That's the lovely thing about making these little kind of pencil cases or pouches, that they do come together quite quickly and they're really satisfying, particularly when it's in a fabric like this. So cute. So that's one thing that I've finished. I mentioned in my last video I have been working on the Nova coat. So last week I cut out the pattern pieces. This week I took on the mammoth job of cutting out the fabric, the lining and the interfacing. And if I just show you here, that's a lot. It's a lot of fabric, right? So I'm treating this project as one that I kind of plod on with slowly in the background because it's quite a big project. I don't want to rush it. I find when I have a big project on my list, it sort of puts quite a bit of pressure on me and I kind of go off it a little bit. So I think if I just do little and often, when the mood takes me, I'm likely to keep on track with it, I hope. The top that I have been working on this week as well is this beautiful fabric, and the name has just completely escaped me of where I got the fabric from, so I will link it down below, but it's a gorgeous cotton. It's an Otex cotton, which means that the cotton was made, it's, how would you describe it? Again, the words are just going from me, sorry. Environmentally friendly, I suppose, well, if you can call cotton that, but reduced impact on the environment. So it's got this orange background with these beautiful white flowers. And then for the frill, I have used a lovely white embroidered double gauze. Now I know that that is from Simple Life Fabrics. I bought, I think about 1.5 meters or 2 meters of it. This was a while ago as well, I'm afraid. And I know Sarah doesn't have any of it in stock anymore. And I've used that fabric already to make up another top, and then I have had enough trim, enough leftovers to do frill on 2 of these tops actually. This is one of my favourite patterns, and it is the McCall's M7977, and there are quite a few variations to this pattern. You can have it with the frill and then the sleeves with a cuff. You can have it without a frill and then elastic waist and elastic 3/4 length sleeves, or you can have it no frill, sort of a peplum effect I think they've done there, and then the elastic around the cuffs as well. So lots of different variations. I don't do mine with the cuffs, and I don't do it sort of the elasticated cuff up there. I just do it the normal elastic around the end of the cuff. I find that's a bit more comfortable for me. So I haven't finished it yet, so I won't insert any photos of me wearing it because the sleeves aren't done and I haven't hemmed it yet, but the rest of it is done. And it closes at the back. I haven't got the button or the loop on just yet. The little keyhole at the back there. It's a lovely pattern. I've got 2 others of these, and it surprises me that it doesn't seem to be a very popular make. When you look on Instagram, there aren't that many posts with it, but it's a lovely top. You can either dress it up or you can dress it down with jeans and trainers. It's quite versatile, I think. So that's what I've been working on. And that also leads me into talk about something else that I am hoping to take part in, and I'm hoping I can submit this for, is a challenge that is happening on Instagram. And it's being run by the Sewing Warehouse, and it is Sew Long Sleeves, I think it is called. I will link the challenge down below if you're interested in taking part in it. So I think it finishes at the end of October, and you just have to sew something with long sleeves. There are a few vloggers that are taking part in the sort of vlogging tour of it, and they are talking about the patterns that they are going to be making. I'm not taking part in that tour, but that is something that I'm hoping to submit for it, because I believe it will have long sleeves. It might be 3/4 length, so I don't quite know what the rules are. I'll need to double check on that, if 3/4 length is allowed as well. Is that technically long sleeve? I'm not sure. And also hopefully my Nova coat I'll have finished by then as well. So that is everything that I wanted to catch up with you about. A shorter vlog today. Some of the things that I've been working on that I've finished, and then a little bit about me. I was thinking for my next vlog of talking about some of my favourite patterns. I'm quite fond of sewing up a mixture of Big 4 and indie patterns as well. And also perhaps taking inspiration from patterns that I have seen and thinking, well, what do I already have in my pattern stash that is similar to that I could use to adapt? because I think this might be a bit controversial, but I think a lot of patterns we do sort of see being repeated, that they are quite similar. And I have learned from Fatmata over at Traditionally Inspired Meaningful Art. Go check out her vlog if you haven't heard of it already, but I'm sure you have. She is amazing at hacking patterns. She is so creative. She sees these patterns and she tweaks them and adjusts them. It's amazing, and it really made me feel that I've got things in my stash that I could use already and just tweak it a bit, and it pushes you a little bit to improve your skills, which is always a good thing, I think. So I was thinking about talking about that in my next vlog, if that is something that you would be interested in. So my favourite patterns, both a mixture of Big Four and indie. If you could comment down below and I will look into doing a vlog on that. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you've managed to stick with me this far. If you have enjoyed the video, please do give it a little thumbs up so it spreads the word about my video. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I would really appreciate it if you would subscribe. I was really shocked. Yesterday, I reached 1,000 subscribers, which I cannot believe. I am so grateful. If you are one of the people that has already subscribed to my channel, thank you so much. I can't believe it. It's really wonderful. Thank you very much for doing that. Again, if you've got any questions or comments, please do leave them below, and I will try as best I can to link to anything I have mentioned down below. Thanks very much, and I'll see you next time. Bye.